From the campus of the University of Kentucky, this is Behind the Blue. I'm Cody Kaiser with UK Strategic Communications. This week, UK Athletics Director Mitch Barnhart has announced he will retire from his role at the end of June, after nearly a quarter century leading Kentucky athletics. In UK President Eli Capilouto's words, some people occupy a position and some transform it. He says Mitch Barnhart helped create a legacy of excellence that challenged those around him to do more than they thought possible and strengthened the university community along the way. During Barnhart's tenure, Kentucky has celebrated 6 NCAA team championships and more than 60 conference or conference tournament titles, while also building a culture that emphasizes both competitive excellence and academic success. President Capilouto points to Barnhart's constant refrain. The goal is for student athletes to place championship rings on their fingers and diplomas in their hands. And Barnhart's next chapter will still be at UK. President Capilouto announced Barnhart will remain with the university as the first executive in residence of the UK Sport and Workforce Initiative, focused on preparing future leaders for a rapidly changing world of college athletics. On this episode, Barnhart and Capilouto reflect on the work, the people, the family, and faith that have guided Barnhart's career, and what it means to pass the baton after years of building something lasting.
Good afternoon, Mitch.
Good afternoon.
Over the last several months, you and I have had what I consider to be some of the most heartfelt and soulful discussions about what you've accomplished here, your always present dreams and vision about Kentucky and its future. And you also raised with me the next chapter of your career in life. I will say, Mitch, in many ways you were a mentor to me during all of this. I will always cherish your wisdom and insights. But what led you to this place at this time?
Oh, I think that there's several things. First I always start at a place that's most important to me, and that's faith and family. And finding a piece about where my journey is and what it means to them. I've got 8 grandchildren, just had our 8th grandchild just a bit ago, and my daughter gave birth to a beautiful little boy here in Lexington, and so we're thankful that they're all around us, and you begin to look at those faces, and they are incredibly special. And so it starts with them, making sure that I'm present for them. Faith, just the faith component, God has blessed us and protected and provided us in so many ways. And His provision is to say that I'll show you when it's the right time. And so our conversations have been, as you said, some of the most meaningful I've had since I've been here. And you were so thoughtful to be able to you listened to what was on my heart for the enterprise of college sports. You listened to what was on my heart for my family. You listened to what was on my heart for our department and how it is intersected into this university and, most importantly, to the state of Kentucky. And in all those pieces, trying to find, I won't say the right way they always say enter humbly and exit well. And very seldom do you get to exit well. And I read an article, I was told by a friend to read the article, and he said that 1 out of every 3 leaders gets to leave well. And that's staggering to me. And you sit there and think, well, is there a right time? Is there a finish line? And I'm not sure there's ever a finish line for leaders. They get to a spot where they finish one job and the next job opens up, or the next task and the next task and the next task. And at some point you have to say, the baton is someone else's to carry. And so in our conversations, I was so thankful that there's the what next after walking away from a position. I'm not a rocking chair guy. I don't see that being my role. And you're laughing, but that's true. So I needed something to do, and you provided a pathway for that, and that I think mattered. You kept coming back to the conversation. You said, Mitch, we want to talk about things that matter. And I was incredibly great with gratitude, gratefulness. You talked about things that mattered, and so we've come to a place where I felt like it will matter to the university, it will matter to our department, it'll matter to Kentucky, and we can have other impact in another way. And I hand the baton off to someone else and let them run the race. We were at South Carolina playing basketball the other night, and I was standing there waiting for the game to begin, and I hear a voice yelling at me from up in the stands. And this woman comes down, and she's got her letter jacket on. It was Abby Steiner, and she is living in Columbia. Her fiance and her were there at the game, and she came down. She says, "Mr. Barnhart," and I thought, God sent that messenger, because that was one of the great relays I've ever watched in my life, in the 4x400 in Eugene, Oregon, when she was a half a lap down, and in the third leg of the race, ran all the way around, caught up, gave us a lead, and we won the 4x4, won the gold medal. I thought, how appropriate that I remembered that relay moment when she handed the baton off, was behind when she started, handed off in the lead, and we were able to carry it home. Someone else needs to carry it home.
Mitch, when you raised all these issues with me for the first time, I think I know you well enough that when you reflect on life, you really come up with something profound. The championship rings on fingers and diplomas in hand, you're always able to concisely, I think, put together words that speak to who we are and our vision. I want to applaud you in all of these conversations. You came back to the preciousness of time and those moments that you just recalled. They fill your life every day, all the time, here on our campus and on playing fields across the country. But what I'll always remember and appreciate is how family came first. And I think you went from a starting five to now a lineup in a baseball game.
Yeah.
You talked to me about, I think almost with pain, when you have to miss one of those grandchildren's athletics events. But it came first. And I know Connie has been with you every step of the way. She has been a counselor, somebody who has held you and not held you responsible. And I know that's very special to you. So I'm going to push you again to talk about your family.
Appreciate that. That's an easy conversation, hard at the same time. Connie is an amazing lady. We've been married 44 years this year. It's been an unbelievable journey. Started with an internship in San Diego at San Diego State in 1982. And I think about having journeyed across the country twice, to the West Coast and back to the Southeast, and the trust that she had to place in me that to not mess it up has been remarkable. The way that she's always opened our home to coaches and athletes and donors, and she's the only one in the family that ever gets mad at officials. She referees.
Mitch, I've always noted your truthfulness, but you may have stretched it a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. The good news is she's 30 rows up. I'm right there on the court. That's the problem. She's amazing. her love and her care for this community. I mean, people don't realize the role she's played in this community and the things and the boards she's been on and the way she has served. And she's truly a servant leader in so many respects. And then our children are fabulous. And, you know, Kirby is an athletic director at Lexington Christian and Academy. And, you know, Blair's an educator, a school teacher. And I watch the way she pours into kids. And Scott is got in this enterprise and then came back to Lexington and is now not working in enterprise, but is so thoughtful. He works for one of the local companies here and in the accounting and finance world. And so and then they've given us these amazing grandchildren that you know, you begin to see. You know, we've got a 3-year-old who, when you ask him who his favorite players are, it's Malachi Moreno and Clara Strack. At 3 years old, that tells you the heart of the Big Blue fans, right? The Big Blue Nation. And it's something they're born, you know, you're born with it and it grows in you and it matters. This place matters. And so for our family, it's all in. You know, it's passionately looking through every game, through every call, through every person through a blue lens that is shaded horribly bad blue, you know, in our way. And then I say that because those 8 grandchildren look up to the young people I have in my program. And they say, I want to be like them. And that's why this matters. That's why it matters. It can't just be an event. It just can't be a record of it is a passionate, emotional tie to each other, a fan base, a family, young kids to people they want to emulate. When they go in the backyard, they're those people. They play. That's who they dream of being. When we dreamed of that growing up, we wanted to do that. When you see them have successes, when you see them fail, you know, it reminds us of the journey, of how we manage the peaks and the valleys and mountains in the difficulties. But those kids emulate everything that they see at 3, at 5, at 9, at 12. And so for our family, that's where it starts. And when we teach in our team meetings, once in the fall and once in the spring, it comes back to representing, as Coach Pope said, that sacred piece of cloth and how sacred it is to the people of this state. And the BBN is strong. And I will reference this later on, somewhere down the road, but at the mountaintop, that wind blows strong, and that's where the BBN lives. They want to live on that mountaintop. And it can blow a lot of ways. It can blow harsh. It can blow in your favor. But without that passion, you know, this program, it doesn't quite have the same effect, the same meaning. But for the young people that we're guiding, that we're trying to say, education matters. Be educated. We want you to get your education. We want you to get a degree. We want you to be prepared for the next piece of your life. You've done a fabulous job of talking about lives of meaning and purpose. That's what we want. And the second piece is learn how to compete. What does that look like? What does it look like to go out and just absolutely not have your best day and fail? And to be able to recover and find your way to victory. To whatever that means, whatever victory is defined by. Getting the job, getting the pay raise, having the next, your children have the next, get their degrees and jump up. What is that? Whatever that means. And I think that athletics is an amazing teacher for life, if you'll let it. We got a lot of parents who want to get involved and make it easy. It shouldn't be easy. It should be hard. It should be really difficult, and the journey should be full of challenges. And so I think we teach that at a high level. Our coaches are fabulous. We got the most fabulous set of coaches. And I know I've probably blown this question way up. But at the end of the day, I think you combine the passion and the education and the competition into a moment where the people that we put on that stage embody what is best of sport, what is best of this university, what's best of education, and gives us a chance to teach young people coming up. And that leads to the things that you've made matter for me as we go forward.
Well, Mitch, I think when people listen to what you just said, they will agree with me that I recognized a great teacher. I also recognized over the last 15 years, you have been at the table in almost every major decision involving college sports. And you've led at those tables as the chairperson in many occasions. No one, I think, can better understand the evolution of college sports and where we're headed now. And it's going to matter a lot to our university that we can weave together different opportunities across many of our colleges and units that touch sports. So this sports workforce initiative that you will help lead, I think is going to open so many doors for so many more to have what is going to be uniquely available at the University of Kentucky in terms of preparation for a career and life of meaning and purpose. We live at a time where students need degrees and credentials and certificates. And what we're going to be able to do here with you, your connections throughout the entire enterprise, I think are going to, again, lead Kentucky to be a special place that people are going to turn to. So I thank you for your willingness to take this on. I'm going to try to ask you another question, though. You know, you look across this campus, Dr. Todd reminded me of when he interviewed you. He said you had a plan for those sports that maybe we all didn't notice as much. The ones that didn't have the most eyes on a TV screen or fans at a game. But those student athletes meant as much to you as anyone. And you had a plan. And I also want to thank you. Your plan included what's important. Talented coaches who care, and an infrastructure where you could, as a student athlete, develop your talent, keep up with your schoolwork, excel in the classroom. So you helped transform this campus, and before I turn to you to reflect on that, I want to thank you. Because I think it was 2012, 2013, we were looking for a way to start revitalizing our campus. And you and I put together 3 building projects. You agreed that athletics would fund the new academic science building. We asked the legislature to let us spend our money on these. It also included the new Gatton College of Business and Economics. And lastly, something you thought was important for our future was the renovation of Kroger Field and a football training facility. And I really think had athletics not been a part of that, we wouldn't enjoy the transformation of campus that all of our students and faculty get to enjoy today. So I want to thank you and ask you to reflect on that vision.
You know, I think that's sort of unique as we think about vision casting. It's sometimes it's your vision, sometimes it's someone else's vision, and I came in 2002 with Dr. Todd, and I had a vision for what I wanted it to look like, and he was gracious enough to give us a pathway, and be really patient with us, because it required patience. We were coming off probation. We were in the middle of a football probation, frankly, the beginning of a football probation, when we got hit with some scholarship reductions, and that set us behind not only 1 8-ball, but 2 or 3 8-balls. Really difficult. And so we walked through those first 10 years. And you get to a spot where you realize that to take the next step, to be able to journey on up the mountain, you need more supplies. And you came as our president at that point in time, and you had a vision for what you wanted this campus to look like and what it could be. And your vision dovetailed into some of the things that we needed. And so I'm not going to sit here and act like I created the vision. It was your vision for what we could achieve. And I'm appreciative of that. We couldn't have made it without that. And so you pulled together the legislature and the opportunity for us to do some things on campus, and from a donor perspective, and how we fit in, and gave us a bandwidth to go get better in football. In a time when the league was expanding and the league was getting better, and we weren't 16 teams yet, but we kept expanding, and it got more difficult. So really important time. In all of our vision for what we wanted 22 sports at that time. They were being fed by 2, football and men's basketball. And that wasn't going to change. The challenge for us was everyone else was taking these incredible monumental leaps in facilities and in funding, and we were doing okay. We were hanging in there, but needed to take a significant step, and this allowed us to do that. And so I was thankful for that. At the time, and you may not remember this, but we were also trying to figure out what to do downtown at Rupp Arena. And we were struggling with how do we get to the right spot for our basketball program. We've got a facility that was open in mid-1976 range, 76, and you sit there and say, okay, what next for Rupp Arena? And how do we do that? And so there was so many iterations going on around there, and you came and said, hold on, and let's get to a better spot. Holding on wasn't in my wheelhouse. That was not where I wanted to go. But you challenged me to wait. And we waited, and we got to a better spot. We got to a better spot. And combining those two things allowed us to achieve the vision that we had for everything and keep going forward and do things like all the gold medalists at the Olympics, representing our country and other countries, all the opportunities for Kentucky to be on the worldwide stage, not just a local stage. I mean, it was a difference maker for us to be able to bring first level, elite level coaches to our program to represent the Cats. And the BBN, go to the College World Series in softball in 2014, go to the College World Series in baseball 2 years ago. I mean, I could keep going on the things they've achieved. The national championships of Craig Skinner and Harry Mullins, and so many championships. And somebody said there's been over 60 either regular season or tournament championships in our time. That doesn't happen without the vision that you helped cast when we needed to find our way up the mountain further. So I'm appreciative of that, and it was a big moment in our time to be able to do it. And we cast vision going forward again.
Mitch, the stars aligned for us back then. It's being part of the Southeastern Conference. Mm-hmm. We had just created the network.
Yep.
And I will always remember that first dollar spent was on academics. Mm-hmm. And people would say to me, gee, you really had to twist his arm. And I didn't. And that's something we shared. And it echoes through the transformation we have been able to be a part of. So I want to express gratitude on part of so many people. Mitch, One of the things I wanted to do for you is hopefully free up some weekends. We want you to teach and work hard during the week, and there'll be some weekend work. What do you look forward to on those weekends?
First and foremost, I think my grandkids, my grandchildren. So I'm looking forward to that. We've had some conversations with them, and clearly they want to make sure they still get to go to games. That's important. Jokingly, but seriously, I've never tailgated my whole career. I've never been to a tailgate where so we may tailgate once or twice. I don't know. We might do that. But, I think grandkids, my grandchildren, my family, I want to spend more time with them. I haven't hiked in 2 years. I haven't been on a good hike in 2 years. When I say good one, like really good one, it takes a few days, maybe weeks. Just go out. I love that part. And climbing and hiking is near and dear to my heart, and my family members love that, so we like to do that. Heading out, want to play a little more golf. I love that game, so I like to do that a little bit more. And got a son that's pretty good at it, and if I'm going to play with him in tournaments, I probably ought to get a little better, get the game back a little bit. I want to be around this, be helpful where I can be helpful in terms of Wildcat athletics. I will be the loudest cheer from the stands and supporter of our coaches. Love these guys, these men and women that represent Kentucky. That won't change at all in any way, shape, or form. And Connie deserves more time. I hope she thinks that she wants me around more time. So looking forward to that. We've got a beautiful farm that we love that sits on the Elkhorn Creek. It's a fabulous place, and so we're spending a little time on the farm too. Will be great. But I'm not destined to be on the deck sitting around. So lots to do. I'm excited about the new initiative that is being started here. That excites me, and I think creating the next set of leaders for our enterprise is at a critical juncture. Do we find a way to marry up the technology piece with the passion and the culture piece, and that make sure it effectively works well together to make sure that what is going on in the brain is fed to the heart the right way. And so we want to make sure we do that. But I'm excited about all that, and so it'll be great. And I'm super appreciative. My love for this place is overflowing. I'll close with that. I came here in 2002 and said to Connie, if we say 6-8 years, that'd be great. We'll go to the next gig. That's sort of what everybody in athletics tends to do. After 6 or 8 years, 8 became 10, and you begin to realize you're in a pretty good place. 10 became 12, and 12 became 16, and we're not leaving. They're going to have to run us out. And I'm sure there's times when people have wanted to do that. I get that. But the love affair for our family with this place runs deep. And we care about it at a high level, beyond, I think, what most people can understand. And I won't explain or give the name away. There was a young person that graduated from a program that I never, ever, ever thought could get a degree. Maybe one of the greatest victories I've ever had here. A couple of our staff members will know. But those are the moments that I treasure. The locker rooms, the hugs, the sweat and the tears. The love affair for this place is amazing. And it's because of the people. And you and Dr. Todd have taught me one thing. People come first. If you get the people part right, everything else will be okay. And I think we've gotten the people part mostly right. Not always perfect, but I think we've got it mostly right. And the people are amazing here, and they need to know how special they are, how special this place is. And the future is amazingly bright. And I'm anxious to see where it ends up.
Mitch, I want to thank you for a lot of things, but that story you just shared about that student who surprised everybody, that's really why we're here, to give Kentuckians a fair shot.
Yeah.
You did. You made people work hard, earn what they received, and I want to thank you for all you did on behalf of this university, but also what you have meant to me as a friend, a trusted employee of this entire Commonwealth in reality. And as I said, when we started all this, you've been a great mentor. And I am very excited that that same wisdom, mentorship, great teaching you bring to everything you do is going to be part of the next chapter for you and the University of Kentucky.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Good.
Thanks for listening to Behind the Blue. Behind the Blue is a production of the University of Kentucky. For more stories about how the University of Kentucky is advancing our Commonwealth, visit uknow.uky.edu.